Hello students, welcome to my class. In my last lecture, I was discussing about the theories related to this chapter. Today, we will do few questions related to this chapter, and definitely it will boost your knowledge how to utilize the theory. Clear to you, my friend? So, let's start the question answer round. Now, the first question, this question carry 1 mark. This is a question completely theory based. Now, what is the question here? Listen carefully. What role does the molecular interaction play in solution of alcohol and water? What is given here? That is alcohol and water. As we know, in alcohol and water, there is a strong hydrogen bonding. Clear to you? There is a strong hydrogen bonding, definitely. When they go into the solution, what will happen? The existing hydrogen bonding which is between alcohol and water breaks. If the existing hydrogen bonding breaks, that is definitely in this case what will happen? There is an increment in the vapor pressure, because if the existing force, or you can say existing bond breaks, that is the overall vapor pressure increases. So, in this case, if the existing bond breaks, then it will show positive deviation. Again I am repeating, it will show the positive deviation. Clear, my friend, what I am telling? It will show positive deviation, that is P is greater than PA plus PB, or you can PA plus PB, or PA is equal to, we know, P naught A into XA, and PB is equal to P naught B into XB. Again in this case there is greater, and this will show the positive deviation, and delta H mixing here is positive. What I am telling, if the existing bond breaks, then we can say that is positive deviation. That is the role of molecular interaction between alcohol and water. Now, I am going to rub this part, my friend. This is a single marks question, no more explanation required. Only carry 1 mark, so simple to explain this. Now, wait for a moment. Now, question number 2, listen what is given here. Why do gases nearly always tend to be less soluble in liquid when temperature rise? That is, as we know, when gas plus liquid, gas dissolves in liquid, okay, but if we increase the temperature, then what will happen? The dissolution of gas in liquid, the dissolution of gas in liquid, that is decreases. This is the case, my friend. Why the dissolution of gas in liquid decreases with rise in temperature? Because the dissolution of gas in liquid is exothermic process. Again I am repeating, the process is exothermic. That is given here, gas plus solvent. Solvent, that means to say there is liquid. Clear to you? Gas plus solvent, that is here is liquid. Now it forms, that is the solution, and during this process there is a heat generate. That is the delta H is negative here, exothermic process, and applying Le Chatelier principle, what do we know? That is, for exothermic process, if we increase the temperature, the process will be reverse, not in a forward direction. So if you want to move the forward direction, that is to increase the solubility of gas in liquid, we have to do what to do? Lower the temperature, because exothermic reaction favors low temperature, not high temperature. So at a high temperature, what will happen in this case? Yes sir, at high temperature the process will be reversed, that is no dissolution, that is in this case the solubility of gas is less at a high temperature, that is the case. And due to this reason, in summer season, what we observe, it is very easy for fishing. That means to say, in summer season, as the temperature rises, the dissolved oxygen, the solubility of the dissolved oxygen decreases. Solubility of dissolved oxygen decreases. Due to this reason, that is the aquatic animal, or you can say fishes, comes at the surface of the water. Why? To breathe, to take oxygen. Due to this reason, in summer season it is easy for fishing, it is easy to catch aquatic animal, because generally they are found in the surface. Clear to you? This is the reason, my friend. This is the complete explanation. But for 1 marks question, you can directly write the process is exothermic. What will happen in directly 1 marks question? Why do gas nearly always tend to be less soluble in liquid as the temperature is? Because the process is exothermic, and exothermic always favor with lowering the temperature, not increasing the temperature. Clear to you, my friend? I think now you can solve this question. Now let us move to the next question. What is given here? Listen carefully. Wait for a moment. The next question is question number 3, my friend. What is given here? If the solubility product, what is given here, that is KSP, solubility product is given 6 into 10 to the power minus 16 given. Okay, wait. 6 into 10 to the power minus 16. Calculate the maximum molarity of CuS in aqueous solution. It's very simple. The link is the maximum, listen carefully, maximum molarity of CuS in aqueous solution is equal to solubility, my friend. What I am telling, solubility of CuS in, what I am telling, mole per liter. That is, my friend, that is, we need to find out the value of S. That is the case. Now remember, in chemical equilibrium in class 11th I have discussed that thing, that is given here CuS. It dissociate like this, Cu2 plus and S2 minus. Clear to you? Now this is S and this is S, my friend, and KSP is equal to, we know, S into S, that is KSP is equal to, my friend, S square, or S is equal to root under KSP, that is root under, what is KSP, my friend? KSP is equal to 6 into 10 to the power minus 16. Now you can write here root under 6 into 10 to the power minus 8 to the power 2, that is root 6 into 10 to the power minus 8. What is the value of root 6? It is around what is the value of 9, that is 3. What is the value of 4, that is 2. 6 comes between 4 and 9. So it will value around 2.5 something, and this is, my friend, the molarity, that is the maximum molarity of CuS. That is the link, my friend, this is the relation. Solubility of CuS in mole per liter. Clear? Again I am repeating, this is the explanation. Maximum molarity of CuS in solution, in aqueous solution, is equal to solubility of CuS in mole per liter. Step by step you have to write down the data, then you will get the marks. Now I am going to rub this part, my friend, and we will discuss the next pattern, the next question. Listen carefully what is given here. State Henry's law and mention some of its important application. If anyone asks you what is Henry's law, listen carefully, my friend. Henry's law, what is given here? That is, it discloses the impact, listen carefully, impact of pressure on solubility of a gas in liquid. According to Henry's law, the mass of a gas dissolved is directly proportional to the pressure of the gas in equilibrium with that liquid, my friend. That is, M is directly proportional to P, or you can write M is equal to Kp. This is the graph, my friend. Sorry, this is the statement. If I draw the graph, it will be like a straight line. If I write here M and P, that is, this is the case. Now, as we know, it's better to represent the solubility in terms of mole fraction. Again I am repeating, it is better to represent the solubility in terms of mole fraction. The statement is partial pressure, that is the pressure of the gas at equilibrium is directly proportional to the mole fraction. That is, we can say the solubility of a gas is directly proportional to the pressure of the gas at equilibrium with that liquid. This is the another statement of Henry's law. Do you remember? Yes. Now we can write here, that is XA is directly proportional to P, or we can say X is equal to K dash P, or we can write here XA upon K dash is equal to P, or we can write here P is equal to 1 upon K dash into XA, or P is equal to KH into XA. What is KH, my friend? That is, KH is, as we know, Henry's law constant. Clear? And what is the solubility in terms? This is the mole fraction of gas. XA is equal to Na upon Na plus Nb. That is not XA, that is the chi A chi B. It can be written like this: Na, number of moles of gas, upon number of moles of gas plus number of moles of liquid. Clear to you? This is the complete statement. Now the value of KH, higher the value of KH, listen carefully what I am telling, my friend, higher the value of KH, lower is the solubility, my friend. Listen, lower is the solubility. This is the case, my friend. So KH and solubility are inversely proportional to each other. Wait for a moment. Again I am repeating like this. That is what? Wait for a moment. That is, KH and solubility are inversely proportional to each other. Clear to you? KH and solubility are inversely, higher KH, lower solubility. This is the case, this is the statement of Henry's law, my friend. That is, what is its application? Now, one more thing, what are the condition? Condition also play. The gas does not go into the solution, that is, no chemical interaction take place. The pressure should be low and the temperature should be high. These are the few limitation in this case. What are the application? We know soft drink bottle are packed under high pressure, my friend, so that the solubility of the CO2 increases in the water in the soft drink. Clear? In scuba diving, in deep sea diving, we use the application of Henry's law, my friend. These are the cases related to Henry's law. Now, I am going to wrap this part. I think you are familiar with this topic, and during my lecture I have also discussed these things, and in my ebook I have given the detailed information also. Now, let's move to the next question, my friend. What is the next question here? Look at this, is completely numerical, that is calculation based. Determine the amount of CaCl2 dissolved in 2.5 liter of water, okay, such that the osmotic pressure is 0.75 atm at 27 degrees Celsius. Now, moving here, check it out, the first part of the question, that is A. Now, what will happen? Listen carefully, my friend. This is the A part. Determine the amount of CaCl2. What we need to find? That is the W. What is given here? That is osmotic pressure. Pi is given here, my friend, 0.75 atm. Yes, and 2.5 liter of water. 2.5 liter of water that is dissolved into such that is atmospheric pressure, okay, and I is given here, my friend, 2.47. Clear? Yes, sir, 2.47. Now, we know what is the molar mass of CaCl2. Molar mass of CaCl2, that is 40 plus 2 into 35.5, that is 71 plus 40, that is 111 gram. Yes. Now, we know that is the osmotic pressure. Now, we can write here the osmotic pressure, pi is equal to I into CRT. What is C, my friend? Sir, C is, that is the concentration, that is the molarity. We can write here pi is equal to I into MST. What is S? That is the solvation constant. R and S has equal value. That is the best one. Now, put the value, pi 0.75. What is the value of I? 2.47. Yes, sir, 2.47. Now, what is the value of M? M is equal to number of moles upon volume. What is S? 0.0821 liter atm per mole per Kelvin. What is temperature? Temperature here is, my friend, 27 degrees Celsius. 27 plus 273 is 300 Kelvin. Am I right? Yes, sir. Now, put here 300 Kelvin. Now, moving here, my friend, that is, put here 0.75 is equal to 2.47. Number of moles equal to given mass upon molar mass. Given mass is W, molar mass is 111. Multiply by V. V is given 2.5. What is volume is given? 2.5. Multiply 0.0821 multiply by 300. Clear? Yes, sir. Now, what to do? Put here 0.75 multiply 111 multiply 2.5 equal to 2.47 into W into 0.0821 multiply 300. Then again, what do we observe here? That is W is equal to, my friend, 0.75 into 111 into 2.5 divided by 2.47 into 0.0821 into 300. After solving, you get the amount of CaCl2 in the solution. Clear, my friend? This is the first part. Now moving here, check it out what I am telling. Among the following compound, identify which are insoluble, partially soluble and highly soluble. Now in water, if I talk about phenol, phenol is what, my friend? C6H5OH. It has a polar part, but here is a aromatic compound. Due to the aromatic compound, its solubility slightly decreases. So phenol is partially soluble, my friend. Again I am repeating, phenol is partially soluble. Now if I talk about toluene, toluene is C6H5CH3. This is the case. As we know, this is a non-polar molecule, and polar dissolve polar and non-polar dissolve non-polar. Water is polar molecule, but toluene is non-polar, so it is, my friend, insoluble. What I am telling, it is insoluble. Now there comes formic acid. What is the formula of formic acid, my friend? The formic acid is HCOOH. As we know, due to hydrogen bonding between formic acid, between formic acid and water, that is, it is soluble. It is highly soluble in water. What I am telling, my friend, it is highly soluble. Formic acid is highly soluble in water. Now ethylene glycol, as we know, in ethylene glycol, that is, there is a OH linkage. So definitely if there is a OH linkage, then it has a hydrogen bonding. It forms hydrogen bonding. Clear to you? Again I am repeating, it forms hydrogen bonding with water. So again it is, my friend, highly soluble. This is the case. Now there comes ethylene glycol. Now there was chloroform. Chloroform, what is the formula of chloroform, my friend? CHCl3. This is, it has very less dipole moment, that is, it is equivalent to non-polar molecule. So this one is again insoluble in water. Chloroform is insoluble in water. What is pentanol? Definitely, my friend, in pentanol there is a OH linkage, but in pentanol there is a bulky, what I am telling, my friend, there is a bulky hydrocarbon group. Due to the bulky hydrocarbon group, they are not highly soluble. They are, you can take this category in partially soluble, not completely. In your book, in many books it is given as insoluble. So it's not better to write the insoluble. You can use, but due to the, that is the big hydrocarbon part, that is C5H10OH, that is, alcohol is, we know, alkane plus O, that is C5H12, that is H11O, that is C5H11O. This is, we can write C5H11OH. Clear to you? That is the case. If in case of pentanol, if there is a large hydrocarbon part, then solubility, my friend, decreases. In, again I am repeating, that is, you can write here that is insoluble, and you can write here partially soluble also. Because if I talk about C2H5OH, due to the less not bulky hydrocarbon group, C2H5OH is soluble in water. So in this case, it's better to write here partially or insoluble. Clear, my friend? This is the case. Now, I think now you are very much familiar with this question. I am giving you few seconds to note all the things, because you have to use pen and paper. Take pen and paper and write one by one. This is the explanation, but you have to write one by one. Clear to you, my friend? So I am giving few seconds to note it. So friend, let's move to the next question. Wait for a moment. Now, what is the next question? Read the question carefully, what is given here. That is, the question here is, wait for a moment, calculate the mass of the non-volatile solute. What is given here? Non-volatile solute, okay. Molar mass 40 gram per mole, which should be dissolved in 114 gram octane to reduce its vapor pressure 80%. That definitely, that means to say, my friend, P naught given is 100 mm and PS given is 80 mm of Hg. Clear to you? That is the question. Now, what we need to find, that is the mass of the non-volatile solute, and molar mass of the non-volatile solute is given here is 40 gram per mole, yes. And what is given here? The given mass of solvent, that is 114 gram. What is the molar mass of solvent? Is also 114 gram, because there is a octane. Octane has formula C8H18. That means to say, that is, wait for a moment, that is 12 into 8 plus 1 into 18. After add, we get 114. Clear? Now, what is the relation we can use here? As we know, that is non-volatile solute, that is, the formula is P naught minus PS upon P naught is equal to mole fraction of the solute. Remember? What is given here? That is the mole fraction of the solute. Clear? Now, what is P naught here, my friend? 100 minus PS, that is 80 upon 100. What is the mole fraction, my friend? Given mole fraction, number of moles of the solute upon total number of moles. Now, what is the moles of A? That is the given mass upon molar mass. This is the molar mass. Given mass we do not know, mark it as X, and molar mass is 40. What is the number of moles of B? That is given mass, that is WB upon MB. What is WB here? 114 upon 114. Now, put the value here, what we get, listen carefully, my friend. I am moving. That is 20 upon 100 is equal to X upon 40 divided by 114 upon 114 plus X upon 40. Yes, sir, you are absolutely right. Now, what will happen? That is 1 by 5. Yes, this will 1. Now, the next parameter here, that is the case. That is, we can write here 1 by 5 here is equal to X upon 40, 1 plus X upon 40. 1 upon 5 is equal to X upon 40 upon 40 plus X upon 40. Yes, sir, this will cancel this one. Now, what do we observe here again? That is 1 by 5 is equal to X upon X plus 40. We can write here X plus 40 is equal to 5X, or 4X is equal to 40. X is equal to 40 upon 4, that is 10 gram, my friend, answer. So, what is the weight of the non-volatile solute? That is 10 gram. Is it clear? Now, let us move to the next question. I think, check it out, check these things. This is a complete explanation. This is the process, method. Now, this is the number of moles, then I move here, that is the case, 1 by 5, then I moved here, this is the solution. Clear, my friend? Now, look at, check it out. Now, I am going to rub this part and we will discuss the next question. Listen carefully what is given here. The case here is the question number 7, big question. Read the question carefully, what is given. 100 gram of liquid, this is the 100 gram of liquid A, molar mass 140, was dissolved in 1000 gram of liquid B, okay, molar mass given. Okay, the vapor pressure of pure liquid B was found to be 500 torr, okay, pure liquid given, okay. Calculate the vapor pressure of pure liquid A, that is we have to find P naught A, and the vapor pressure in the solution, that is we have to find PA. That is we need to find PA and P naught A. Now use the formula. What is given here? 100 gram. Given mass of A is 100 gram and the molar mass of A is 140 gram, okay. Given mass of B is 1000 gram, my friend. Put here, that is 1000 gram, and molar mass of B is given 180 gram, okay, that's good. So in this case the number of moles is equal to 100 upon 140 and the number of moles of B is equal to 1000 upon 180. Yes sir, this is the case. Now this will cancel this one, that is 5 upon 7, and this will cancel this one, that is 50 upon 9. Am I right? Yes sir, you are absolutely right. Now what we need to find? We need to find P naught A and my friend PA. This is the question, P naught A and PA. Now listen carefully. As we know, PA is equal to P naught A into XA and PB is equal to P naught B into XB, that is, and PS, the P total is given here, that is PA plus PB. And the question here, the vapor pressure of pure liquid B, vapor pressure of pure liquid B, that is P naught B is given here 500 torr. Am I right? Yes. So, and PT is given here 475 torr, my friend. Now if I get XA, mole fraction of A and mole fraction of B, then what we get? PA and PB. And if I get PA, then we can easily get P naught A. Now moving here, my friend, listen carefully. The next part, as we know, number of moles is given. XA is equal to NA upon NA plus NB. What is NA, my friend? 5 upon 7 divided by 5 upon 7 plus 50 upon 9. This is NA? Yes sir. What is XB? That is equal to NB upon NA plus NB. That is the 50 upon 9 upon 5 upon 7 plus 50 upon 9. Clear? Now put this value. What we get? PA is equal to P naught A into XA. XA is 5 by 7 upon 5 by 7 plus 50 upon 9. Clear? Now put this value, PB is equal to P naught B into XB. What is P naught B given here, my friend? 500. And what is XB, my friend? 50 upon 9 divided by 5 upon 7 plus 50 upon 9. What do we get? We get PB here. Now if I get PB here, now what is given here? P total is equal to PA plus PB. Suppose if I get PB is equal to X from this data and PT is given here 400, then what will happen, my friend? We get 400 minus PB is equal to PA. Clear? Now if you put this value of PA here, we can get P naught A, my friend. This is the case. Solution looks so much lengthy. It carries 4 marks, but if you have a step-by-step command over the theory, then we can easily solve the question. Check it out. Check these things, my friend. This is the case. NA, P naught A, PA, PT. Complete explanation. NA, we get NB. Now P naught A, we need to find PA is equal to PT. Now if I get PB from here, now then PA is equal to PT minus PB, that is 400 minus PB. Then we'll get the explanation. Clear? Now I'm going to rub this part, my friend, and we'll discuss the next question. Wait for a moment, give me few seconds. Now let's move to the next segment of the question, the next question. Now this is again a lengthy question, listen carefully. The air is a mixture of number of gases. The major component are oxygen and nitrogen with approximate proportion 20 and 79, okay, at 298 Kelvin. The water is in equilibrium with a pressure of 10 atm, okay, that is given here. The total pressure that is given 10 atm, okay. Now if the Henry's law constant Kh for oxygen and nitrogen, for oxygen that is, it is given here 3.30 into 10 to the power 7 mm, okay, and for nitrogen it is given here 6.51 into 10 to the power 7 mm. Calculate the composition of this mixture. What is given here? Calculate the composition. That is, we need to find mole fraction of X and mole fraction of O2 and N2. That is the case, my friend. Okay. Now how to solve the question, my friend? It's very simple. As we know, partial pressure of O2 is equal to composition for oxygen, that is 20, total composition 100 multiply by total pressure. Partial pressure of N2, what is the composition? 79 upon 100 total multiply by 10. We got partial pressure of O2 and partial pressure of N2. Now I am moving here by applying Henry's law. What I am telling again, I am repeating, by applying Henry's law. What do we observe here? What do we get? Yes sir, partial pressure of O2 is equal to KHO2 multiply mole fraction of O2. Now mole fraction of O2 is equal to partial pressure of O2 upon Henry's law constant of O2. What is the partial pressure of O2? Look at, this will cancel this one, this will cancel this one. So put here 2 upon, what is the KH? 3.30 into 10 to the power 7, my friend. This is the case. Now what is the composition of N2? We can write here Pn2 upon KHN2, my friend. Put the value. What is Pn2 here? This will cancel this one. 7.9 divided by 6.51 into 10 to the power 7. Am I right, my friend? Look at, this is the explanation of this question. It's very simple. You can easily solve. Question looks lengthy, looks tough, but if you have a command over the theory, then you can easily solve the questions, my friend. Am I right? Yes sir, you are absolutely right. I'm going to rub this part and we'll discuss the next question. Wait for a moment. Now question number 9. This carry 5 marks. Listen carefully what is given here. I'm moving here. Calculate the depression in freezing point. What is given here? Depression in freezing point. That is, we need to find delta TF. Okay. In water, when 10 gram, given mass of solute is 10 gram. Okay, of CH3, CH2, CHCl, COOH is added to 250 gram of water. That is, weight of the solvent is given here 250 gram. Okay, and what is given? Ka and Kf also. Clear? And what we need to find? Delta T. As we know, delta TF is equal to I into Kf into molality. We do not have molality, we do not have I. These are the two things we have to find it out. First of all, what we need to find? Molality. Molality is equal to number of moles of solute upon weight of solvent in gram multiplied by 1000. What is the number of moles of solute? Given mass upon molar mass into weight of the solvent multiplied by 1000. This is the thing. Now WA is equal to 10. What is MA? We do not know. We will find. What is WB? That is weight of the solvent. Weight of the solvent in kg, that is 250 multiplied by 1000. Now what is the molar mass of that is my friend CH3 CH2 CHCl and COOH. What is the molar mass? Tell me. How many carbons are there here? 1, let me CH3, CH2, CH, Cl. Okay. Clear? How many carbons? 1, 2, 3 and 4. That is 4 into 12 plus how many hydrogen are there? 3, 2, 5, 1, 6 and 7. That is 7 into 1. Yes. How many oxygen are there? 2. That is 2 into 16. How many chlorine are there? Only 1, 35.5. That is, what is 48 plus 7 plus 32 plus 35.5. Add here 55 plus 32 plus 35. What we here? 5, 5, 10 to 12, 5, 6, 11, 122.5. So we can write here the molar mass is 122.5. That is, molar mass is 122.5. Now by putting this value, what will happen? We get the value here, my friend, that is molality is equal to 400 upon 1225. You can solve this data, that is the molality. Now what we need to find, my friend? I. Now how to find I? As we know, it is given here. Now CH3 CH2 CH then Cl COOH. Clear, my friend? That is, it dissociate like this: CH3 CH2 CH Cl COO minus and H plus. If I starting when T is equal to 0, that is, my friend, given here, that is C, then 0 and 0, and T is equal to T equilibrium. What we get? C minus C alpha and C alpha and C alpha. Yes sir, C alpha and C alpha. Wait for a moment, let me write down C minus C alpha, put here C, that is C alpha, that is C alpha, 0 and 0. What we observe here, that is Ka is equal to product concentration. Clear? C square alpha square upon C 1 minus alpha. Clear to you? Now that is equilibrium, chemical equilibrium. What is Ka is equal to? What we get? That is C alpha square 1 minus alpha. 1 minus alpha is equal to 1. So what we get here, my friend? Alpha is equal to, and concentration we are taken here is 1, my friend. Now starting from the 1 mole, that is the case. Now what we get here? Ka root under Ka is equal to alpha. Clear to you? What is root under Ka is equal to alpha. So alpha is equal to, we can write here, root under 1.4 into 10 to the power minus 3. Am I right, my friend? Yes sir, you are absolutely right. Now if it is taken as 1, that is, the equation is 1 minus alpha, alpha and alpha. So what is the value of I? I is equal to total number of moles at equilibrium. Total number of moles at equilibrium 1 minus alpha plus alpha plus alpha, that is 1 plus alpha. I is equal to number of moles at equilibrium upon number of moles taken. What the number of moles? Concentration 1. So I is equal to, we will put here 1 plus alpha. This value, alpha is this value 1.4 into 10 to the power minus 3. Now I am moving here, my friend. Now what we have? We have molality, we have I, we have K. Put this value, you will get the expression. I am starting from the 1 mole here. So therefore 1 minus alpha, alpha and alpha, that is number of moles at equilibrium. 1 minus alpha plus alpha plus alpha, cancel each other, 1 plus alpha, my friend. This is the case. Long question, but it is one of the best question, because here is the involvement of, my friend, equilibrium also. Clear? So what I am telling, question looks tough. No, write down part by part, solve what we need and from where we will get the answer. These are the things only, my friend. I am going to wrap this part and we'll discuss the next question. Wait for a moment, give me few seconds. Clear to you? Now the next question is question number 10. Read the question carefully, my friend. Similar question that I have discussed in last question number 9. 19.5 gram of CH2FCOOH is dissolved in 500 gram of water. The depression in freezing point is observed 1 degree Celsius. That is, calculate the Van 't Hoff factor and the dissociation constant, my friend. What is given here? Calculate the Van 't Hoff factor and the dissociation constant. As we know, delta TF is equal to I KF into M. Clear, my friend? What I am telling, delta TF is equal to I KF into M. And what is the molality, my friend, in this case? We know molality is equal to given mass. Given mass here, that is 19. Wait for a moment. Delta TF is equal to K I into KF. KF is equal to 1.86 upon M. M is given mass upon, number of moles of solute upon weight of the solvent in kg, or number of moles of solute upon weight of the solvent in gram multiplied by 1000. Clear? Now molality, solve it. N is equal to given mass. What is given mass? 19.5, my friend, upon what is the molar mass of CH2? Wait for a moment. And weight of the solvent is 500 multiplied by 1000. Now what we need to find? We need to find out the molar mass. Here the molar mass is very simple. Carbon 12, hydrogen 2 into 1 plus fluorine, that is 19, plus carbon, that is 12, and oxygen 2 times, 2 into 16, and hydrogen 1 times. Add them, that is 12 plus 2, 14, 14 plus 19 plus 12 plus 32 plus 1, 33. Again I am repeating, 12, 2 into 1 plus 19 plus 12 plus 2 into 16. That is 33 plus 14 plus 20 plus 11, right, like this. 33 plus 14 plus 19 plus 21, that is 31. 4, 3, 7 or 1, 8, that is 3 and 4, 4, 2, 6, 3, 3, 6 and 7, that is the 78, my friend. Put here 78. What we get here? The overall molality. Now if I put this value here, then that is the depression in the freezing point is given 1 degree, put 1, that is I into 1.86 multiply 19.5 upon 78 into 500 into 1000, my friend. Then definitely after solving we get the value of I. Now let's move to the next one. What is given here again? That is dissociation constant. As we know, as I discussed earlier, dissociation constant K is equal to C alpha square. What I'm telling my friend, K is equal to C alpha square into 1 minus alpha, that is, this is the case. If I write here, that is alpha, what is I value, I is equal to, as I told you, 1 plus alpha, and alpha is equal to I minus 1. You can get I from here, you can get alpha, put this value, and concentration, we people know concentration is equal to the molarity. If I take 1 mole, that is the alpha square, we can get dissociation constant. Complete formula, K is equal to C square alpha square C 1 minus alpha, my friend. That is 1 minus alpha is equal to 1, it cancel each other, K is equal to C alpha square. Put the value, you will get the answer. Clear to you? I think the question looks tough, but it is not so much tough, totally depends upon the theory. So these are the few questions related to this chapter, and definitely my friend, it will help you a lot. Clear to you? So now I'm going to end this lecture. Thank you so much. Bye bye.